Hi all, welcome to Parker's Reef. On today's episode you're going to hear from me, Mrs. Parker's Reef. Yes, I am the wife of Sam Parker. We also have a beautiful daughter named Ruby, who you've probably seen on some of the videos. I work part-time. I've just started up a small business as well. So Sam and I have been together I've been married 6 years. So that means we've had the tanks for 6 years because it all started just after we got married. Some of my hobbies are gardening. Do love the garden. Love walking the dog. I love my essential oils. I love colouring in. Love a good puzzle as well. And I love, it's not so much a hobby, but a change of career, doing my counselling, spiritual counselling, and my Hahnemann healing, which I love to do. No, not really into fish tanks. Love looking at the fish tanks. Just brag about the fish tanks all the time. They're amazing, but I don't really know anything about them. It all started when my brother was managing a pet barn, and it was the grand opening of a new one that was just down the road from us. So we went down to have a look and we thought we'd get a little, I don't even know, is it 9 litres or something, fish tank for Sam was going to put it on his desk at work. And we got home and I think we had some tetras and some guppies and a catfish. I don't even know what they were called. And it never made it to work. It ended up staying on the bench at home and we just loved it. We loved looking at them, watching what they did. And then, I don't know, probably a couple of months later, we went, let's get a big freshwater tank. And I'm like, well, if we want to do it, let's do it properly. Like I want a big, 4 foot, whatever. So we went to the local, one of the local stores in Geelong, and they also had marine. And we were looking at the marine, we're like, oh, it's so pretty. And Sam was like, I think it's a lot of work. But in Sam's style, he went and did some research and went, no, I think we can do this. So then we went and got the Red Sea Max, I don't know what size, a 130. And we started with that just to see if it was always going to be Sam's hobby, Sam's thing. I was sort of just along for the ride with that one, but to see if he could manage it and we liked it and what we could do with it. And it didn't take long at all for the plans for our big main tank that we've got to start and come into it. I think probably within maybe 6 months we had the big tank was up and running. I love it as a spectator. I'm not into it. I don't do anything to the tanks, but I love it. I love that Sam loves it. That's probably the main. If he didn't really like it, then obviously we wouldn't be doing it. But I love the look of them. When we got the big tank, we were originally going to get rid of the Red Sea Max 130, and I'm like, no, you can't get rid of that because that had all the sort of our original couple of the original fish that we had in it. And I'm like, no, so we kept that. So that's sort of when the collection, I guess, started, because it went from that one to 2, then the frag tank, and then it continued on. This is pretty tame compared to, it's compared to Sam's previous hobbies of drag racing. So yeah, it keeps him at home, which is always nice. But it's, well, yeah, it's mostly pretty much safer than drag racing, except when you're cutting up corals and things, but that's okay. Yeah, it's expensive. Sam spends a lot of his own money doing it. So he will, Sam's obviously, he's got his YouTube channel. He takes photos of other people's tanks for them. And there's always equipment being bought and sold, and there's water that people buy off Sam and things like that. So there are, yeah, ways to, oh, and corals, of course, frags. Sam spends a lot less time on them now than what he used to. So at the start, when we first got, probably not so much the Red Sea Max, but when we got our main display tank, he was doing a lot of stuff for a lot of his time on that. But as it sort of settled and as he automated lots of stuff, his time on it now is nowhere near as much as what it used to be. If he just had the one tank, then yeah, he'd hardly spend any time, but because he has a few of the others, he still spends yeah, like maybe, I don't know, a couple of hours on it. Yeah, it's nothing that I would, I certainly don't get annoyed at the amount of time he spends on it or anything like that. I think the amount of time he spends is reasonable for a hobby. Yeah. No, I don't do a lot to the tanks. Probably the most I do is feed them when he's away. And I cleaned the glass, I think once, maybe. And I'm the one that comes out and goes, oh, there's a pump making a funny noise, or something doesn't seem right. That's about the extent of the work that I do on the tanks. The only thing I don't like about the tanks is the noise of the fan that it makes. It's okay when it's on, but when it turns off, you realize actually how much of a background noise it is. So if that could go, that'd be awesome. My advice would be to try and do some of it together. Probably what got me excited at the start too was that I always wanted a lipstick tank, so that, you know, I sort of got more involved because of picking of the fish and things like that, and Sam would show me what ones we could get, what ones we couldn't get. So I think definitely at the start, if you can get a little bit involved like that. We name our fish too, which I always like. That just helps to sort of bridge the gap a bit. You definitely need to have your own hobby and things to do, otherwise you just think it unfair because your partner will get to spend all the time doing what they love. So I think that's really important, and just keep communicating. If you think that it's too much time, ask if that's reasonable, and then have a chat about it. Enjoy it. It's there to be enjoyed. If Sam said he was packing up this hobby tomorrow, I'd be devastated. I brag to everybody about our amazing fish tanks. Kids, when the kids come over, like other kids come, they love watching it. Even adults, you know, it's amazing. And the places that it's taken Sam and even myself to a certain extent, and my daughter. We've driven halfway around Victoria looking at other people's tanks and taking photos. It's good fun. It's great. So enjoy it. It's great. Oh, we've had a few of those, few disasters. Yeah, mostly leaking. Not the actual tank, just the sump, like overflowing, or the RO, when he used to do the RO inside. Yeah, we've had a few cleanups happen. Thanks for watching, everybody. That was today's episode of Parker's Reefs, and we'll see you next time.